What is up, guys? Welcome on back to TK's Garage. And in today's video, we got to talk about some of the subjects that we were talking about here previously in terms of older cars getting banned. As it looks like another state is trying to propose, or they're talking about proposing legislation to get older cars off the road. I think this is a very underhanded, interesting scumbag move by these blue states to try to force people into a surveillance state of cars, because that's what this is. This isn't about safety. This isn't about the environment. This is about being able to have control. We're going to talk about all that and more right after this. Guys, we're getting in for a quick word from our sponsors. Again, Delete Me. They sponsor us every month. I 100% love them as a product and a program. So let's get into this. So, I started looking into how much of my personal info is online, and it's way more than you would expect. There are these things that they call data brokers, and some of the worst ones are people search sites. They basically build full profiles on you. Name, phone number, past addresses, even relatives, and they just sell access to it. Once your personal info is sitting in these data broker sites, you really don't know who has control of it, who accesses it, or how it's even used. And again, we're talking about real details. Addresses, phone numbers, relatives. That's why Delete Me exists. They've been doing this for over 15 years. And what they do is they remove your data from hundreds of those broker sites and keep monitoring it over time. So it's not like a one-time thing. They even have real privacy advisors if you need help with specific situations, which is something I didn't expect. Here's my report. I'm going to pop it up on the display. I pop it up every time we talk about it every month. It's pretty eye-opening how much of it was out there and how much is removed from all of these sites. For me, it's about reducing risk and making it harder for that info to spread. If you want to check it out, you can go to joindeleteme.com/TK Garage and use the code TK Garage for 20% off. Links in the description, and if you haven't seen it, it's already been up on the screen, as is the QR code. All right, let's get back to today's video. So major shout out to our sponsors over at Delete Me, man. We truly appreciate them. They're one of our regular monthly sponsors, and I use their product. I think it's great. So let's get into this. I talked about this earlier in the week where we saw Illinois was looking at proposing legislation to ban cars from 2005 and older, right? You already have Minnesota with a law that they're putting on the books to ban classic cars, right? And they're not, yes, in the bill it does talk about different age ranges or whatever, and they also talk about when you'd be able to drive it. It's my property. It's my shit. If I have a fucking tag on my vehicle, I'm going to drive it whenever I want. You're not going to tell me you can't drive it because it's this age. That's bullshit. That makes no sense. So it doesn't shock me to see what I'm seeing now out of the state of Massachusetts. So now Massachusetts wants to propose a similar bill, but they're even worse than what Illinois wants to propose. Illinois was trying to ban cars, like basically have, they call it limited, that's what they said. I saw all the people in the comments. I saw the libtards in the comments going, it's not a ban, it's just a limited registration. Limit these nuts, all right? That's what you do, limit these nuts. Because there's not a limited registration. Limited registration means, it's like having a DUI and can't drive at certain times, or having a restricted license. Nobody wants that shit. Miss me with that. Get out of here. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's this. They're banning your vehicle from 2005 and older in the state of Illinois. They're doing it in Minnesota. They're going to propose it in California. And now we're seeing the state of Massachusetts saying, 2005? Nah. That's not even too far back. We want to go from 2009 back. So basically you're saying, and it's crazy because with the representative for the state house in Massachusetts that was talking about this was like, oh yeah, anything before Cash for Clunkers. Well, Cash for Clunkers was before '09, but they're like, basically what they're doing is they want to make sure all of those vehicles that don't have EGR or DEF in terms of diesel or like crazy catalytic converter systems on them are banned. But it's not. See, it comes down to people keep coming back to, oh, it's emissions, TK. They want to save the environment. It has nothing to do with that. Absolutely not. They don't give a shit about the environment. They don't. It has nothing to do with the environment. It has to do with having control over those vehicles. These older vehicles, in the biggest offender here that's pushing for this legislation in all these states, insurance companies. Why? Well, you know, like on your phone or on your cell phone, if you use a certain app, sometimes you're forced to opt in with your location and call it fitness activity, which way the phone's laying, how it's moving around. It can get all of that, G-force data, all of that shit an app company can get, right? Now, insurance companies are they were already going to try to force this issue where they could track how many miles you drive and do all of that. And it didn't go over too well with the public. The public said no. Every insurance company offers some track and save bullshit now, but what they're trying to do is they're trying to backdoor this shit. They're trying to have the states go, oh yeah, these older cars can't be tracked. So we want to get this done and get everybody into these newer cars, and then we'll have legislation drafted where car manufacturers have to share that data with us. That's what they want. It's all about surveillance. It's all about control. And the next move that's coming from the insurance companies is this. If they can't get that, let's say that their proposals here and all the lobbying and everything they're doing fails. Cool. They're going to double or triple your rates if you don't opt into this other thing. Until somebody sues and is successful, they're going to raise the rates so high where there's going to be so many people without car insurance, it's not going to be funny. But I have a feeling over the next 30 to 60 days, we're going to see more of these blue states drafting some sort of legislation trying to ban or limit registration, limit the time you can drive your 2009 and older vehicles. Man, when I tell you that voting has consequences and the people that you put into power, the people that you put into office can completely fuck up your life, I hope you get it now. I really do. And I'm from Boston. I was born and raised in Massachusetts. I hate that state for how it's ran and what it was. I don't want to say I'm one of those get off my lawn guys, but I miss the old days of Boston. And I know you guys say, well, wasn't Boston a really racist city? Yup, sure was. I miss the old days of Vegas. I know somebody will go, well, TK, what are you, racist? No. I wasn't a fan of how all the different sections of Boston were cut off and these people were here and these people were here and you didn't, go into other people's area. I never was a fan of that. I was a fan with how the city was run. Shit got done. Emergency services worked. Programs worked if you actually needed those programs. All of that stuff worked back in the day in Massachusetts. Now that entire state is nothing but a clusterfuck. And now they're just looking for more ways to be able to control the populace that lives there. And newsflash, it's coming to California. It won't surprise me. I bet you Oregon put some shit up. I guarantee you Washington's going to put some shit up. None of this is going to surprise me. Over the next 30 to 60 days, you're going to see more of these states proposing these bills trying to get older cars off the road. In fact, one of the proposals that assembly people in California have been talking about is they want to ban your registration or limit your registration to very limited drivable access for vehicles that are 10 years or older. In that case, all of my M5s that are 2016, well, one is a 2015, but the 2015 and the two 2016 M5s that I have I couldn't drive them. I couldn't daily them. I couldn't drive them on the road. That's insane. That's absolutely effing insane. Now, if they want to say twin turbo V8, you can't have that. They're already trying that. That's not going to work. But this is just another crazy avenue that we're seeing that they're trying to get over on. That's what they're doing. They're trying to get over on people with this, and this is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know why I'd expect anything else from Massachusetts. They were right there with California trying to do this mileage tax bullshit. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Give the video a big thumbs up if you like what I do. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And as always, stay petty, my friends.
For the longest time. Whoa. For the longest time.
Yo, Percocet, Miley Percocet.